No question about that, Matt. It's unbelievable to think, Charlie, 13 seasons now. One of us gets younger looking, while the two of us get older. Like, I don't know how Tony does it, but back-to-back 20-win seasons, which is a great accomplishment, Tony. What has been the reason you think that your program has been so consistent?
Better talent. It's real simple. Good players make you a good coach. But we were proud of that consistency. You know, we're proud of the fact that we've been to the championship game 4 out of the last 8 years, and that we've got back-to-back 20-win seasons. And Chris Sears told me that since 2008, no team has won more tournament games than William & Mary, and that's something to be proud of. And the consistency is the hardest thing to do in college basketball, so we're happy to be there.
You talk about that talent, and obviously it was embodied last year by Marcus Thornton, one of the top players that the CAA has produced. And what a great thrill it must have been for you, the program, and for the entire conference to see Marcus drafted by the Boston Celtics in this past NBA draft.
It was exciting and well-deserved. I mean, he worked so hard for that opportunity, and nice to see him rewarded in that way. And I think he could play in the NBA one day. I really do. And hopefully his success at William & Mary will help us get more Marcus Thorntons and guys that will be drafted in the future.
Update everybody on what he's doing right now, because I know he was in the camp with the Boston Celtics, and now they're trying to get him a little more professional experience.
He played with Celtics in the Summer League and did relatively well with it. They placed him in Australia in the top level there, and he's only played 3 or 4 games there at this point in time. Once that season's over, he'll come back to the D League with the Celtics and hopefully progress from there.
Well, you lost Marcus, but you got a guy named Terry Tarpey, who I think is one of the best all-around basketball players, not just in the CAA but in the country. He just does everything for you.
Charlie, he impacts winning as much as any player I've ever coached. I mean, if you look at his statistics, I mean, defensive player of the year in the league, but he led our team in rebounding and steals and in assists, and was one of our top 2 or 3 scorers as well. So he's such an active player, great athlete, great anticipation. You know, my biggest fear with Terry this year is that, and I think it's true of our entire lineup, I don't want anybody trying to replace Marcus. I want Terry Tarpey to be the best Terry Tarpey he can possibly be. I want Daniel Dixon to be the best he can possibly be, and not thinking in terms of having to replace other people.
You mentioned Dixon. There's also Omar Pruitt, Sean Sheldon, guys who bring a little variety to their game. Dixon's an unbelievable three-point shooter. Pruitt's got a little overall game. Where do you see this group kind of blending at its best? Where is going to be the strength of this team?
Well, I think balance will be the key. You know, in our past, when we have 4 or 5 guys in double figures, we're hard to beat. So I think that will be the case for us again this year. We do have good talent returning in 4 starters. We've asked each of these guys to improve, though. We want Daniel Dixon not just to be a shooter. We want him to be a complete player, rebound and defend for us. I think Omar is going to get the ball in his hands a little bit more this year. Sean Sheldon might be the most improved player in this group. He's just gotten a little bit better every year. And in our early season practices and scrimmage has been one of our most solid players, and really hope he has a great senior year.
Well, one of the questions everybody has is who's going to be the point guard. I think you got 3 guys competing. Talk a little bit about those 3 guys.
Well, I think that shows our growth, Charlie. We do have 3 guys that we think are very capable of filling in at the guard spot. David Cone is a transfer from Colorado State that set out last year, and a very, very quick, explosive player for us. Mike Schlotman is a redshirt sophomore that I've loved since the year we recruited him. He's had 2 injury-plagued seasons and has looked like his old self a little bit this year. And then a young sophomore that had some really bright flashes last year in Oliver Tott. I think out of that group, we'll find a starter, and who that will be right now, I really don't know. But I think all 3 of those guys are very capable of helping us win basketball games.
Well, you know, I've asked all the coaches, and I might as well ask you. I think I know the answer, but the new pace of play rules are going to change this game a little bit. And how do you feel it will change? You were fortunate enough to be able to play one of these games last year, but is this going to change much about your system?
I don't think it will change much at all for us, Charlie. I think people don't realize this sometimes, but we're an up-tempo team. You know, we've been one of the top 2 scoring teams in the league in recent years. And we had a recruit, in fact, ask us this year about I think some other coaches had told him we play a slow-down style. And so I looked at him, I said, do you think Kentucky's an up-tempo team? He said, yes, sir. And he said, well, I said, they averaged 74 points a game last year. We averaged 73.4. So we're not afraid of the fast pace. In fact, it helps us at times. The significant rule changes this year, though, I do really think are going to change college basketball.
Well, Charlie certainly knows this better than anyone, but one of the things that we were remarking before you came in, Tony, was that there has always been a consistency to your team, the style of play that you've been able to get. How have, in this changing landscape of college basketball, for 13 years been able to get your system and have these players excel at that system year in and year out at William & Mary?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, I think 7 or 8 years ago, we made a major change in style of play. And our defense changed, our offense completely changed. I think it's helped us, though, Alan, that we now can recruit to that style of play. We recruit shooters. We recruit guys who are versatile players like an Omar Pruitt and Daniel Dixon that can play a number of positions for us. I love length on the perimeter, and so the style has helped our recruiting, and our better recruits have helped our style of play. So it's a good circle.
Well, Tony, congratulations again. Back-to-back 20-win seasons at William & Mary in his 13th year. Tony, good luck this year.
Thanks a lot.
Tony Shaver, the head man for the men.